Hello guys, it's me, Red the Dinosaur, and today with an special episode of the Revs and Rambles podcast, where I just tell things without too much editing and have a space to just, have a chat. So, this is a special episode, as I said, and is completely dedicated to my trip in Europe. But before we start, I can tell the whole trip in one episode. I have to basically chop it in at least a few episodes to get the full detail of my trip as I want to. So this is gonna be part one, where I'm just gonna tell you the first cities that I visited and a few things that I did, so we can get the full picture. Like probably episode two will be probably Paris if I'm not wrong, but we're gonna focus first on the first cities. That is gonna be Madrid and Bordeaux. So I landed in Madrid. I traveled with Iberia. That is the pretty much the Spanish flag airline, if you want to call it that way. Iberia can be better. After I traveled to Turkey in Turkey Airlines. Iberia is not exactly good. It's not bad either, but it could be better, especially when in Turkish Airlines the service was really good. Even when at the start of my trip in Turkey was a bit rocky due to the fact that the staff of the airline was a bit rude, and that I had two other passengers on the trip that weren't exactly from my region. They were from Asia, so it was a bit uncomfortable. But let's move on to Iberia and my trip, my first start in Madrid. So yes, Iberia not very good, and I wasn't able to sleep too much on the plane. To be honest, I didn't sleep at all because it was very uncomfortable, due to the fact that the plane was full, and even going to the bathroom was a bit of a challenge due to the fact that the plane was so full of people and that one of the bathrooms was damaged. So yeah, you can imagine the line that I had to do to actually go to the bathroom. But yeah, I landed in Madrid. Really cool airport. It's really big. You actually have to take like a small train to travel to the two places of the airport, which is quite unique. Well, I never saw that in an airport before. So yeah, that was that. And after that, I took a travel bus to my hotel. That was the hotel, or the Praga hotel for you Americans and people who talk in English. But for me, it was the Hotel Praga. Really good. It's not the best of hotel in the world, but it's really comfortable. Sure, it has its issues, but it was really good. And due to the fact that I wasn't able to sleep at the plane at all, it was really nice to at least have a few hours to rest, because at that same day that I landed on Madrid, I was planning to visit the city, and I did. I speak to the guide of the bus what was the best option to go to the historic places of Madrid, and she just showed me like the line to take the municipal bus and to stop in this place and all that. So that's what I did after I rested, and it was nice. I visited the old Palace of Madrid that is quite big, is in and is full on history. That is something that is gonna be a key point on these episodes of the Revs and Rambles, especially on the Europe trip. When you travel to Europe, is filled with history. Let's remember that Europe was pretty much the place where the occidental part of humanity was born. So it was filled with a lot of castles and with a lot of art, and most importantly with a lot of history of the kingdoms, especially the powerful kingdoms that one of them was the Spanish one. So Madrid had its bits of that strong history, and the Palace of Madrid had that. I have a few pictures here that I did on my travel to Madrid. That I visited the Plaza Mayor and the I already told you the Palace of Madrid, that is beautiful, and that again it has a lot of history, and that most importantly has one of the a lot of also a lot of the history from Spain is there. So really cool thing to actually see and experience by my own. Also to see Madrid at its own, you can see the big difference between cities, because when I was in Turkey and in Istanbul, the city was organized but wasn't at the point of Madrid. Madrid is really organized. Sure, it has its, not great parts. I think all the big cities have its poor parts, or the parts that the city doesn't want you to see. But that again, that's very common of these big cities. They want you to just show you the nice parts of such place. So yeah, that's what I did. I just went to the historic places. I also ate on a restaurant the traditional paella from Spain. That again was a big difference of the one that you both here in Colombia. That one in Madrid is filled with a lot of fish. Something that you don't see in this part of the world, especially Colombia. So it was really nice to actually eat and have a bit of the gastronomy of Spain. Also, I ate these, like, how to say it, is like this meat. Yeah, it wasn't more exactly something like you find not as exactly like fast food as hamburgers or hot dogs. It's more something traditional from them. It was a bit of a meat that I bought. It was very expensive. It was 30 euros, and well, if you make the conversion, that's actually pretty fucking expensive. So it was nice to actually again experience the gastronomy of Madrid and to actually visit the city as a whole. It was really good to see the infrastructure, to see how different it is. Like, something that I also wanted to mention is that Madrid has a lot of EVs, especially Teslas. And I think, and it's something that I talked with my friend in Argentina, that I said, like, dude, there is a lot of EVs, especially Teslas here, and probably there is gonna be some benefit in terms of transportation on Madrid if you have an EV, probably like a tax cutout or some benefit, and probably the taxis need to be electric or hybrid at worst, so you can get to parts of the city. And that's something that I actually did, like I discovered later soon, that there is parts of Madrid that are restricted only to electric vehicles, due to the fact that they want to pretty much get that carbon neutral footprint, all that shit. I don't exactly know the specifics, but yeah, like there is like parts of the city that you can travel unless you have like an electric car or a really good hybrid. So yeah, that's something. um Also, I have the benefit that near my hotel was a mall, and it was nice. Again, when I went back, I didn't knew too much, So I decided to just go back to my room and sleep a lot due to the fact again that I didn't sleep at all on the plane, even when I took a bit of a nap on the hotel before I started my whole trip to Madrid. I just decided to just take a rest. But on the second day, I decided to travel to Rodeos, the old capital of Spain. And I'm saying old, like medieval ages old. Rodeos was the old capital due to the fact that it has like the most important churches, and it has a lot of the old infrastructure is still there. Something very interesting that I found on Rodeos is the metallurgy is very strong there. Like you can actually buy a sword there. Like you can buy a katana on Rodeos. It's just insane, dude. Like I was actually just joking of actually buying like a. I think that it was costing like 100 euros, like a full-on katana. I didn't knew it was actually a working katana, that was able to cut things. I don't know, and I didn't want to know by myself. But yeah, you can actually buy like knives, like pretty much hunting knives too. But yeah, also like big ass swords if you are into that stuff. Like one of the cool things also that I found in Rodeos that they are also made replicas of the swords of The Witcher, and I think also from series like the Hunger Games, and I think Game of Thrones. You can actually have a replica from the source of that series, which is pretty cool. Also, like you can find like full-on helmets from the medieval era, and like you can get like a coat of arms. It was really really cool to see that metallurgy industry is still very strong, especially on that place. So very recommended if you are into that stuff. You can buy a full-on suit of medieval armor. I guess if you have the money for it, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty nice. I think I bought there like not exactly something metallurgy focused. I just bought two shirts because I didn't have enough shirts for my trip, and also like this small rubber ducky. When it comes to me and when I travel, I turn to buy things that makes me remember places and aren't exactly like something very that if I go to Rodeos I have to buy like a knife. Not exactly, like it can be something small. Like it was like a shop of rubber duckies that in some odd way they are very trendy in Europe, because I found all those, like I found also shops with rubber duckies in all the other cities that I'm gonna mention in the future. So it was nice to I bought one of those, and when I see it, I instantly remember of Rodeos and Spain, and it was really really nice. Also, I bought two shirts that are amazing, like t-shirts. They are pretty how to say it, sarcastic in their way. They are pretty fun. So I usually use them for work, but yeah, they are fantastic. And that was the second day. The next day I was planning. Well, I wasn't planning it. Like my trip was to Bordeaux, so I was preparing for my trip to that city. So it was nice. Also, that same day, I found that I had near two supermarkets. So I was a complete moron to buy like sodas and stuff like really in far places when I had pretty much two supermarkets near my hotel. So I just discovered them and I was like, well, I'm just gonna buy Monster Energy and all that shit just so I can just be woke up during the so I can just go to Bordeaux. So I just did that. Also, like I told you, I had a mall close by to my hotel as well. So I just decided to go there, and I made a few, a few. I went to shop in that place. So I bought this Lego that I wasn't able to get in Colombia. It was like a Speed Champions Lego of the Porsche GT3 RS, and it was pretty nice to actually found it on there in Madrid. I wanted that car, so in Lego it was really nice to have it, because again I think a week ago, before I started recording this, I went to the Lego shop here in Bogota, and I wasn't able to find the Porsche GT3 RS that I bought in Madrid. That actually made me pretty proud of myself, and that was something that was good to buy. Also, I thought I buy a few things as well. Well, pretty much like candy related, because I'm a full on dumbass when it comes to candy. Like, I love candy, so I just decided to also buy a few things there. But yeah, that's was pretty much it. The second day of Madrid, and the third day was my trip to Bordeaux. It took a while because you have to cross the border of Spain and France. And yeah, it's a completely new place to visit, and a full on different place. Bordeaux is is just one thing, and it's spectacular. And it's something that usually when you travel by bus, like I did, it can be at the first place could be like a bit disappointing to see Bordeaux, because in the hotel that I was staying, and this is gonna be the start of a bit of a nightmarish hotels that I stayed in along Europe. But yeah, like the when I entered Bordeaux, I thought it was like an industrial city, and something that I wasn't exactly very excited to see. And I was like, okay, what is Bordeaux? And this doesn't exactly look good, especially on the place that the hotel was. It was in a not in a sketchy area, but it wasn't exactly nice to see. So I was a bit disappointed to see Bordeaux as a first glance, to see Bordeaux in such way. So when the bus left and we went and did the check-in in the shitty hotel that I got, it was extremely bad. So I don't remember the name, but I'm just gonna leave the the hotel right there. I'm gonna do my bit of an investigation on that hotel, so I can leave it on the screen, and just tell you, don't go to that place. The rooms are super small, so if you're traveling with someone else, it's gonna be really really small, especially for two people. So imagine if you're bringing your family to that hotel, it's gonna be a mess. So it just to tell you, don't go to that place again. But at least one thing that was good, it was that it was close to the metro station, or in there. Yeah, it was, let's call it the metro station. So we went to take the metro, and well, surprise surprise, I wasn't, because it was my first day there in Bordeaux, I didn't knew too well how the metro system worked, and it was a little bit different to other cities. So I wasn't fully aware how that worked. So I went to the wrong door of the metro. You need to actually pay. It worked like a bus, like your normal bus, but you and someone told me like, hey, you need to pay to the driver first. And I was okay, fair enough. But since I entered to the wrong door, and I wasn't alone on that, I was with a group of other guys from my trip from Colombia, that we were like super lost in the terms of how to actually pay the driver the trip. So that was the thing of the metro. It was a bit of a funny one because we tried so hard to understand the system that a local that luckily was a Spaniard uh, was explaining us how in the metro how the system worked and how what was the mistake that we did and all that stuff. So she actually went to ask the driver, "Hey, I have this group and they don't know exactly how to pay you, you know." And the bad thing is that the driver only speaks French, like not even English. It spoke French. So imagine the situation that we were. We were pretty much lost because, well, I know English and Spanish, but I don't know French. So that was a bit of a situation we were there. I wasn't exactly uh, assured how what we gonna do, but the people in Bordeaux is very kind. It's something that I want to actually say because the people of Bordeaux, especially that metro driver, was really really nice. He actually didn't bother. He said like, it is what it is. Just this is on the house, to call it that way. And we were very grateful for it. We like there is like a small group of like ladies that it were on my tour that they were super super grateful with the driver, and even they took a selfie with the driver. It was very odd, but the guy took it very very nice, and he was very very happy to help us. And it's something that I really appreciate of the people of Bordeaux, is the fact that they are really 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 nice to foreigners. Like they are really really nice to tourists. And Bordeaux, when you go to the city center, is magical, is spectacular. I have this photo of the basically the downtown, to call it that way, where the Intercontinental Hotel was there, and also besides that was the famous Gordon Ramsay restaurant. I wish I had the money to enter there, but well, I wasn't able to, but I got a photo of the restaurant. I know that place because it appeared on a show of Gordon Ramsay that I kind of liked. I think it was like this trip with an Italian and a French guy that he did, like in an RV along like across Europe. It was that I knew exactly that restaurant, and it was nice to see it in person. Like it was called Le Bordeaux, but yeah, it was really really cool. And visiting that, especially in the night, is magical. I think the Bordeaux shines as a small version of Paris. So is that's the thing. It's just I think Bordeaux in some way looks way better than Paris. But again, well, Paris is a different beast by its own. I know it's not fair to compare it, but at night Bordeaux is really really nice. Like the whole city turns on at night, and it just looks incredible, incredible. And also in Bordeaux, I was able to taste the famous crepes. I was hungry because I wasn't able to have lunch on the trip to Bordeaux. So we went to a restaurant with my group, well, like a small group that we did with some Colombians, and we went there. And again, the attention was spectacular. I actually ordered like a crepe with chocolate, and it was cool. It was really really good, especially when you didn't eat lunch. I know some people would say it's really odd that you didn't eat lunch and you go to eat a crepe with chocolate, but that's me. But it was really really nice. I think like when you taste something from them, and especially from the area, like crepes from France or the paella from Spain, I think is special. And the fact that it just tasted really good, and I was very grateful with the waitress. That was really nice, especially on the fact that we were on a French city, and the fact that you don't have where people don't speak too well English and Spanish. It was a challenge, but luckily for us, again, the people were really kind. We found that the waitress was able to speak Spanish and understand it. So again, it just was incredibly good. And the fact that the attention was on point. Again, I think the most important thing of a restaurant, especially if you are into that stuff, is the attention to the customer. And the restaurants of Bordeaux were exactly that. They are amazing, and that the attention is really, really good. I wish that attention stayed in a few other cities, but that's an episode for another day. So that was pretty much it when it comes to Bordeaux. And yeah, it was a sad thing that I didn't stay more days, because Bordeaux is beautiful. I think is one of the most prettiest cities in France, especially in northern France, because there is going to be an episode for the south of France, Monaco and Nice and Pisa and other. Well, when we come to the Italy part of the episode, but yeah, there's going to be a part for the French Riviera. But yeah, for northern France, I think Bordeaux is beautiful. I think it's just magical, and I wish I stayed more days, because I really wanted to travel more and know more about Bordeaux. But maybe it's gonna be for another time. But yeah, completely recommended. If you go to France, take a time to visit Bordeaux. I think Bordeaux, especially at night, is just another thing. Another is just a spectacular, and it just shines as your typical magical European city, and especially the fact that it's not bad at all. And it's not bad at all if you stay in a good hotel that is not located in an area that is pretty random, because like the area of the hotel wasn't exactly bad. Again, it just was very random. That's all I want to say. But yeah, again, don't travel to that place. Don't travel to that fucking hotel that I stayed. Like, stay away of them. Like, Bordeaux is amazing, but the hotel that I stayed was awful. But yeah, that was episode 1. Episode 2 is gonna be dedicated to Paris, because Paris was 3 days, and Paris is an episode of its own, because it has a lot of history and a lot of things and a lot of memorable moments that I wanted to tell you, and it needs its own episode. And so yeah, I'm gonna just be releasing the episodes when I probably more often. It's gonna be probably a one-off of the Revs and Rambles podcast, that I usually release an episode when I want to, and that want to could be each like 6 months for an episode. So, but for this, probably I'm just gonna be releasing this for at least 1 or 2 weeks. So when my schedule lets me, just to keep in mind. So that's pretty much it. I hope you like it. Again, stay tuned for episode 2, that is gonna be Paris. And yeah, it was really, really good. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think of the episode 1. What do you want me to tell about episode 2? If I missed something, if you want me to cover something else of my travel, well, all the comments are welcome. if you want to know more, well, there is the subscribe button that I invite you to subscribe, because, well, I make content about, Forza Horizon 5, the Crew Motorfest, and other racing games, but also I have these spaces where I can just, speak about other stuff. So, yeah, you are more welcome to subscribe and ring the bell to stay notified about my uploads. So, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.